Today I fucked up by telling my husband he need to pay me if we open our relationship. My 32F, husband 31M, we're talking about friends of ours who opened their relationship with a written contract, max 5 people, no friends or family, full honesty, etc. He told me the girl had no choice, either accept or he'd leave. But apparently she was okay with it in the end, because he convinced her and she agreed. Whatever works for them, their relationship, their rules, why not? I told my husband, if I had to open my relationship, I'd need to be paid for it. I explained that for me, something like this would only make sense if both sides benefit. I have zero interest in sleeping with strangers, so for me the benefit would have to be money to make up for the effort. I added that the price would have to be high, so it actually feels like a burden. He looked skeptical. I just said it's a win-win. Everyone gets what they want/need. That kind of deal must be fair for both parties. He asked me how much and I laughed and said $500 plus $100 more per partner, reset every year. We both laughed and moved on. Later he came back and asked me again what my price was. That's when I realized he might actually be considering it. It was supposed to be a joke. We've never even talked about opening our relationship. We do have our issues. Our sex life is not the greatest since we had kids, but we're trying to make it work. Now I can't stop thinking he might actually want this and I don't. I should have set a higher price. So yeah, I regret saying that. Too long did not read. I joked about being paid for opening our relationship. My husband is now considering it. Edit. Thanks for the replies and all the different insights. Some of you made me laugh. Others really made me think about our relationship. English isn't my first language, so I didn't explain the pricing thing clearly. What I meant was $500 for the first time/partner, then $600 for the second, $700 for the third, and so on. But that was obviously a joke. I'm a Som with no job, so in a way he already gives me money. Either way, I think we definitely need to talk about a few things. To those who said maybe he feels left out or his needs aren't fulfilled, you might be right. And that's something we need to talk about too. I should have set a higher price. I don't think that would have mattered as much. There is a term F/CK off money in blue-collar industries, which refers to an exaggerated price quote to make the customer either to leave or at least pay so much you are willing to take the commission. The risk is customer might agree. Just be honest in that and say, I really don't want you to sleep with other people. No, not even for money. But yeah, it backfired. Edit. Added a specifying you. JFC, this might be an actual big-time fuck-up. That can of worms did not need to be open like that. But also $500? Way to sell yourself short. Just tell him the price changed, and it's now one divorce. You can still tell him that you thought about it, and the price has gone way up. This never works out for the guy. Women have an easier time finding someone to have no strings attached relations. Unless he already has someone willing, he's going to regret this. Your relationship will also fail if it isn't already. Tell him that a divorce opens up the relationship all the same if you're not into the idea. It really is that simple. Today I fucked up by paying £200 to shit on a volcano. So tonight I forked out £200 for what was supposed to be this magical stargazing trip up a volcano. The plan, ride a coach to the top, look through fancy telescopes at the stars, moon, planets, all very romantic. About an hour in, my stomach decides it's time to play Russian roulette. Absolute knots. By the time we get up there, 60+ people pile off the coach to enjoy the view, and I'm curled up in agony, refusing to move. No toilet on the coach, no toilets up there either. Shorts with netting, no boxers, no wipes, no toilet roll, the full nightmare package. Fast forward 3/4 hours. I haven't moved an inch. A tour guide finally notices I'm basically dying and hands me baby wipes. They point me towards some volcanic rocks in the pitch black. The ground's literally crumbling under me while I squat down and unleash a crime scene. Somehow my shoes survive. But as I'm wiping, my hand goes straight through and lands in the fresh pile of wet regret. Meanwhile, my girlfriend's standing next to me in the dark, absolutely howling with laughter at my misfortune. So yeah, long story short, I paid £200 to shit on a volcano, swipe my own hand through it, and then just get back on the coach. Too long did not read. Paid £200 to finger paint with my own shit on a volcano. Your girlfriend makes this whole thing amazing. If she's there for you through volcanic diarrhea, then she'll be there for you always. You could have done with a lavatory Was that empty tide in Tenerife? She a keeper. Went up there to see the moon, ended up giving the volcano one instead lol. Was this someone's sacred volcano? A lot of them are. Fly home before you tell this story to too many people. Today I fucked up by joking about divorce at my boyfriend's family dinner. So basically I, 21 female, went to my boyfriend's house for dinner to meet his family for the first time. I was like super nervous, but it was actually going okay. Everyone was nice, and I was finally starting to relax. Then his parents were kind of bickering about cooking, and I, being an idiot, thought I'd be funny. So I laughed and said something like, haha, careful, that's how divorces start. The room went dead silent. His mom just froze, his dad looked down at his plate, and then his sister goes, they literally just got divorced because he cheated. I swear my soul left my body. I was just sitting there red as hell, trying to mumble, oh my god, I'm so sorry. But nobody even looked at me. His mom got up from the table and left. His dad didn't say another word the rest of dinner. I sat there basically wishing I could crawl under the table and disappear forever. TLR tried to make a dumb divorce joke at my boyfriend's family dinner. Turns out they actually just divorced because of cheating, and it was like the most awkward moment of my entire life. Boyfriend really dropped the ball by not giving a heads up when he brought you specifically to meet his mid-separation yet still cohabiting parents for the first time. Your boyfriend should have informed you beforehand about his parents being, recently, divorced. Before you went to meet his family, how did that not come up in conversation that his parents were getting divorced? Like, did he invite you to meet his parents and pretended that everything was normal at home? Or was this the first he heard about it, too? These / writing prompts are getting even crazier and less believable by the day. Parents are getting a divorce because one is cheating on the other, but still living together and happily play bickering. But OP is the straw that breaks the camel's back. What I want to know is if this crap is all just shitty bots, or people who suck at creative writing. Your boyfriend didn't tell you this? His sister just flat out announced the divorce was because her dad cheated? Today I fucked up by not going to the hospital after hitting my head on ice. I'm 21F, a figure skater, and about 4 days ago I hit the ice directly on the back of my head after falling on a jump. Afterwards, my vision was blurred, my eyes wouldn't focus, and I kept going cross-eyed. My fiancé, 21M, begged me to go to the hospital, and I refused because I didn't want to pay the hospital bill. Earlier today, things took a turn for the worse when I woke up with a violent headache, vomiting, and more weird vision issues. This ultimately culminated in me passing out on the kitchen floor and my fiancé calling an ambulance. I'm currently writing this from the hospital. They're keeping me overnight because they think I have a TBI. My vision is still bad, my eyes keep going in the wrong direction, and I want to faint every time I stand up. If you hit your head hard, please go to the hospital. Too long did not read. I hit my head hard on some ice, refused to go to the hospital because I didn't want to spend the money, and now I'm hospitalized for a TBI. I will probably have lasting effects from this for the rest of my life. I am stupid. Please don't be like me. I'm also a figure skater, and I feel like some of the blame should lay with your rink and whoever was on the ice with you at the moment. At any rink where I've skated there is very strict head injury protocol, and anyone who hits their head at all, or has any indication of trauma to the head or neck, must be immediately assessed for signs of concussion. If you fell on the back of your head and had noticeable, cross-eyed, vision problems, and none of the coaches on the ice came over to check on you, and just let you keep skating, then at the very least they are grossly violating any sort of safety training they've received and committing massive professional misconduct. That kind of thing can end your career or your life from a brain bleed. Ask the ER docs and the neurologist to walk you through concussion protocols for athletes. Then make damn sure you and your team and your trainer are following them so that you don't lose the ability to function properly decades from now after you retire or lose your life and everything you have worked for. You got a concussion, of course you have to go to the hospital. Read the story about Natasha Richardson, Liam Nelson's wife, who fell while skiing on a flat surface and banged her head and refused to go to the hospital and then ended up dying. Sorry to sound like a nag, but if it is a concussion, and it sounds like it probably is, stay off your screens as much as possible. They negatively affect recovery. Instead, if you're bored, lay down and listen to a podcast or audiobook. Good luck. OMG. I remember you posting in the figure skating sub and all of us telling you to go. Glad you are getting checked out now. I'm a hockey player and I did the exact same thing. The difference for me was I was knocked unconscious and had a seizure. My friends called an ambulance and I had an occipital bleed. I was in the hospital for a week with them trying to decide whether or not they needed to drill holes in my skull. Next time, go to the hospital.